Well, it's supposed to be streaming. I gotta find the... Gotta find it. Just a second. All right, there's a stream up. If you go to YouTube, just search for K9YK. You should see it.
Yeah, I see the K9YK radio live stream.
All right, I'm not sure why it's making an echo. Maybe that's better now.
Looks okay to me.
All righty. Just a second. I'll flip on the camera and the transmitter here.
I assume you're going to be on 427.25.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, I see a signal.
Oh, good, good. How's it look?
Pretty weak.
Oh, I know why. Just a second. I got to run in the other room, and I don't have a any keying control in here for the amplifier. I have to run in the other room and stick a plug in there to short the keying jack and put the amp in transmit. If you're seeing anything, that was like 3 watts.
Oh yeah, there was definitely sinking a little bit of a picture that was trying to come in. So yes, there was something there.
All right, let's try that again.
Oh yeah, much better. There's definitely a picture.
It seems kind of oversaturated with color here on this end. I can turn that down, though.
The signal doesn't look that way.
That looks a little bit better here.
Well, the color's very weak here, but it is a snowy picture.
Okay. You still pointed the same way you were yesterday?
Yes, sir.
All right, good deal.
So yeah, it's about the same picture I saw yesterday. It's a little more stable, I think, because we don't have lightning and everything.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good. So what about P3 or so?
Yeah, I'd give it a P3.
Okay, cool. Cool. I'm glad it's working. You can read the call sign at the bottom.
Oh yeah, and I see the airplanes on the wall back there, and I see you sitting there. Yeah, it's clear enough for all that.
All right. Does it look better on the SDR Sharp?
Well, actually, it's not as good a resolution, but it looks less snowy because I think it's because it's a tighter bandwidth.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, awesome. What? How was your evening last night and your day today?
Oh, everything's fine last night. Just kind of had a relaxing time. Today, when you texted me, I was working on converting one of my K9YK 25 element units from 432 to ATV. Actually, I'm converting it back because I bought it originally as an ATV antenna, then converted it to 432 a couple years ago. And now I want it back because I want to set it up in Illinois on the tower I have there and use it as a remote receiving station.
Okay, very good. So you're making the elements, what, a little longer, a little shorter?
A little shorter, higher frequency. I'm not actually making them different. When I converted it, I bought new elements that I needed and repurposed some of the others that were the right length. But I saved everything, so now I'm putting it back the way it originally was.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's good. Do you still, so you still got, I don't know, last I knew you had like a couple Channel Master dishes up there or something. Is that right?
Yes, they're still there in Illinois. And yeah, I could use them to receive TV. They're not quite right on frequency, but they worked pretty well. The problem I got two problems. One thing right now, the amplifier is dead on that tower. Thursday, I'm going. My friend Steve, who helps me with this, we're going out there to lower that tower and replace the amplifier. And the other thing is I don't always have free access because he gets on a lot for TVDX, so it's difficult to share that setup.
Okay. Yep. So somebody else is using it as well. That's interesting.
Yes. In fact, it was originally set up for TVDX, and I'm now going to probably put the first piece of ham equipment on it. So I can put this antenna up near the top of the tower, which should be about 70 feet or so, and just aim it my direction. And people like you and some of the guys in Ohio are not far off of it, could probably make use of it as well to test.
Yeah, for sure. And you're going to use what, SDR Sharp for the receive again?
Yes, I'm planning to have a Raspberry Pi and SDR Sharp in a little. I'll put those things in a little box at the bottom of the tower, so that I don't have to make a big long run into the building.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that'll be cool. I know you've received me over there on that setup before, but now it sounds like it's going to be a little more tuned toward ham radio with that antenna. Probably give you a little better gain, right?
I think so. Now, of course, dual dishes were pretty good, so I don't know. there was some gain on those, although I think it'll still be a little better. Plus, it'll be dedicated, and that's what I'm really interested in, is having a dedicated antenna there.
Yeah, that'll be cool. And you'll be able to turn that beam remotely?
Not initially. That's the problem. It's going to be on the side. I've got a side mount for it, but the antenna's too long to rotate very much. I'd like to set it up to be able to rotate it maybe over a 30-degree range, so I can just kind of adjust it for whoever's out this way. But that's the most I'm going to be able to do.
Okay. Well, you need to get remote transmit over there too.
Yeah, I could maybe eventually, but that's a little more involved. So I think I'll just settle for receive right now because I'd like to see how my signal gets out. You know, and it's like from here, that's like I don't know, 80 miles. That'd be a pretty good test.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Um, I did tune the output of the exciter here a little bit since I had tuned it the other day when we were shooting a picture for 439 250. So once we settled on 427, I retuned it a little bit yesterday afternoon once we were done, and a little more power here. It's like 40 watts more on average or so is what it's making now.
Oh, okay. Can't really notice any difference at this point, so that's, yeah. But what's interesting on the television set, it's flickering and so on, off and on, but on the SDR Sharp, it's perfectly stable. So I think the TV just has a hard time receiving these weak signals.
Yeah, probably. Well, let me drop for a minute here, let you come up. Let's see what you look like this way.
Okay, very good.
Oh, I got to take my amp out of transmit to get the preamp to come back on. Just a second. K9YK.
I have to switch it back to 427. I'd switched it to 439 again yesterday for something else, so I'll be a moment.
All right, my preamp is back on.
I had it had the modulator unplugged from the transmitter, so now we should be able to. Okay, there we go. Nope, we're coming up now. Can you see me? Oh, let's see. Well, I see a picture coming in. Oh yeah, there it is, kinda.
Yeah, it's a little more snowy than yesterday. That's a little bit better.
Yeah, I was adjusting my power level to make sure I'm not overdriving everything. That looks pretty stable.
Yeah, I was just moving the antenna back and forth a little bit, see if I can make it any better, but that's about as good as it's going to get.
Yeah, I think so too. Not bad. Let's see if I push the power up a little higher. It doesn't seem to matter, so I don't want to drive it anymore. I have to. I'm probably pushing 700 watts. I actually had 700 watts average in, so I'm really putting some power out.
Okay, yeah, it's definitely more stable than yesterday. It was wanting to roll and stuff more yesterday, so that's good.
Well, very good. Yeah, I think the conditions are just better right now, so the signal's much happier not having to go through lightning.
Oh, for sure, and I think there was quite a bit of that yesterday.
Oh yeah, definitely. Between you and I, it's interesting. There was some lightning here in Storm, but I couldn't tell in the basement. But fortunately, I didn't have any issues trying to transmit to. I didn't lose anything.
Well, it's working pretty well. It's rolling a little bit now, but it's holding up pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say not bad. Quite a delay though because of YouTube. Looks like 3 seconds or something.
Yeah, and I told it to use the ultra low latency streaming too. So it's yeah, by the time it gets encoded and then streamed and everything, yeah, that's as good as it gets.
Well, that's okay. I can tell. It's just when I was tuning things, I had to really wait to see what effect it had. But I'd say that's a decent picture. I'm pretty pleased with that for the 50 miles and the equipment I'm using.
Yeah, I can read your call sign on the wall there, so that's good. It actually almost looks a little bit better on YouTube than it does on the TV here. It's like YouTube took some of the snow out somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it did, because yeah, it does look pretty good. So I wonder, not sure how that does that. But now, what kind of a receiver do you use for that?
I'm using a blonder tongue agile demodulator. I mean agile, but it's limitedly agile because you've got all the 8 dip switches or 16 dip switches in there. But yeah, it goes through the blonder tongue and then data video. TBC 3000 full frame time base corrector, and then it goes into a splitter, and output goes into the monitor here, which is a Philips like 12-inch security monitor, and then the other part of that split is going into an Elgato USB capture device, and then out to the internet.
Okay, well, it works really well, that's for sure. Now, do you think that has a tighter bandwidth or tighter filtering than maybe a regular television set would?
The blonder tongue, I don't know, maybe. Not really sure. Not really sure. I think the thing that makes all the difference is the preamp, which is over in the amplifier at the other end of the basement. That's as close as I can get it to the bottom of the tower. That's one of the ARR preamps with a gas fed in it.
Yeah, that's the same one I'm using, and I've got it. There's my little shed there next to the tower. I've got it inside the shed there. Normally I'd be using the amplifier in the shed, but I haven't converted over that yet, so I'm actually feeding my power through about 200 feet of LMR 600 equivalent coax. So I do lose a fair amount just getting to the antenna.
Yeah, yep, I know what you mean. Let's see if Nick is in here. K9XN from K9YK. Are you in there, Nick?
Yeah, I'm in here. I do copy you pretty well, but I'm having trouble hearing Mike there. I do hear him once I go to the south, but then I got to kind of adjust the beam a little bit so I can hear you as well.
Okay, all right. Yeah, Mike, you need to get that vertical beam back up over there for 2 meter FM.
I'm running horizontal.
Okay, I kicked my power up. Does that help?
Yeah, that's a little better. I can copy you both.
Okay, are you more towards Lafayette?
Roger, I'm in Lafayette.
Okay, I'm turning the antenna a little bit maybe because I don't have any trouble hearing Mark, but you might be better now.
Hey, Roger, yeah, I can copy you both. I'm also horizontal. I'm faced 210. I'm kind of splitting the difference between you and Mark.
Okay, now I've tuned you in a little bit, so I'm off of Mark, but I think he can hear me okay. He was awful strong, so yeah, no, the vertical I operate right now is just 6 feet off the ground. It's almost like running a 5/8 mobile whip, you know. I only use it to get into the local repeater.
Roger, Roger. Okay, well, you sound good here on horizontal, and like I said, I'm still able to hear Mark as well. I'm watching the YouTube stream. I got a good image. I would say it's probably, for me, P3, and that's via Mark through the YouTube stream.
Okay, were you saying Mark a P3, or are you seeing me a P3?
I'm seeing you as a P3 through Mark's stream.
All right, well, I'm going to turn my antenna a little bit more towards you, and we'll see if that makes a difference there.
Copy, copy.
Is that better?
No, it seems to be a little worse now. Again, I'm watching the stream via Mark's YouTube, so it's going to be away from Mark, so it's worse. But yeah, right there is pretty good. I can read your call sign. It's in color. I can see the SDR on your screens. Yeah.
Okay, I misunderstood. I thought you had your own TV going and was watching it directly. No, I turned away from Mark, so that's why it was worse. So, okay, I got you.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any ATV gear here. I do have a television that I could probably rig for an analog input, but my beams are not up high enough for it really to make too much of a difference.
Well, you'll just have to get on sometime and play around with that.
Absolutely, yeah. This is a lot of fun. I would love to play around with this a little bit, but I need a tower and a better beam. I do have a 9700 here, so I'm able to put out a little more power. Right now, I'm running about 60 watts or so, 60 watts on the horizontal.
Okay. Well, even if you just set up a cable-ready TV set and receive on the cable channels, you'd at least I'm sure you'd be able to see us. In fact, that's how I'm getting Mark's signal in color, is I just have a cable-ready TV sitting here that I hooked up the antenna to, and I'm watching on cable channel 58.
I think we've tried that before, Mike, and for him, he's kind of where he's at in town. His antenna's maybe 25 feet or so off the ground. I've tried shooting him a picture before, and we didn't have any luck. Of course, he doesn't have a preamp over there. He's got like 5 elements on 432 horizontal. I don't know, but I think we need to go up and take a look at that antenna too and make sure all that's okay. Maybe replace some coax.
Yeah, Roger, Roger. Okay, guys, well, I'll let you go ahead and continue. I will just watch here on the live stream, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. Go ahead. K9XN.
Oh, very good. Thanks for jumping in there. Hey, I just realized I didn't have my preamp for this 17B2 antenna. I've got a mass-mounted preamp up there, and I turned that on, and oh my gosh, you went from kind of fuzzy sounding to nice and clear. So I tell you, the preamp makes a huge difference. This is N9BNN.
Yeah, preamps do make a big difference for sure. K9YK.
Well, the amplifiers aren't getting too hot. I get, let's see, one side's at 43 degrees, the other side's at 49, so there are 2 different sensors in it. Not bad. I tell you, these having commercial TV stuff is pretty good if you don't use it, don't push it too hard.
Yeah, for sure. It's it's nice having my amp in the other room because those fans on the back of that thing are pretty darn noisy. It sounds pretty windy when it's running.
Oh yeah, same here. I've got mine in the other. I don't know if you remember, my basement's like split in 2. There's a utility side, and I've got them on the other side of the wall from the shack. There's a little door on this end of the shack that goes in there as well, and so that's what I use to run cables under it and so on. And I can still hear them, but oh my gosh, if they were in this room, I wouldn't be talking to you on the radio.
Oh, you're not using the amp that's out in the shed?
No, right now I haven't switched over yet. This is in the wintertime I use the amp inside, because when it gets really cold in the shed, they don't work properly. It's not good. So they'd have to be on all the time and hot, you know, to be useful. So no, this is my winter setup, and I just haven't gone and made the change yet. I've got to redo some stuff out there to get everything going.
Okay, yeah. Well, when you get that going, let me know. We'll try it again. Where's the preamp for what you're receiving right now? Is it still out there or inside?
No, it's in the shed. What I do when the antenna line comes in, I split it. I have a receive line, a receive only, and the preamp's on the receive side there, and then there's a separate coax that comes all the way over here. And then I have switching here so that I can run a preamp out there really close.
Okay, is that what, like a coax relay or something that you switch it between transmit and receive?
Yes, it is. Out there I've got a really high powered, I've got one of the M squared relays that are good for over a kilowatt. They're like $500, but one of the ATV guys had one. He didn't need it. He sold it to me, I think, for $125 or something some years ago. Really nice deal. But I've since found those vacuum switches online, and I've bought one and made another one to use on 222 because I was putting out 600 watts there, and that works pretty well. So I kind of build my own now for a fraction of the cost.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, even $125 for that M squared relay, that's quite a nice deal for sure.
Yes, those vacuum relays, man, they're nice, but boy, they're pricey. So I got two more, but I wasn't paying attention, and I noticed they weren't 12 volt. They're 120 volt AC. But that's okay because I can put a little 12 volt relay with it and hook it up to the line voltage, you know, and make use of it. But I just haven't built another switch yet out of it.
So tell me what you got, K9YK. I know you've got some digital stuff over there too. Tell me what that is again. It's been a while since we've talked about that.
It's N9BNN. Well, I can do DVB-T. I've got a dongle that's actually a little transceiver I've played with, and then I've got a separate unit that's a really nice digital receiver. So, but I have hardly done anything with it because there's nobody around with that. The closest is the repeater at Dayton, but that's like 120 miles. And in the past, I tried a couple times to see if I could pick it up or hit it, and I've just never succeeded with it, so I've kind of put it aside. But that's what I have.
Okay, and that the dongle you said that's a transceiver that you can transmit with. How do you get video into that? Can you just like only play video files on your computer, or how does that work?
Well, that's all I have capable of. I don't have any way to. I mean, I've got a camera, you know, I've got like a webcam or something. I suppose I could get that to work. But all I've really done so far is I created a video file that had my call sign on it, like you see on the wall. That's all I set up to do. But I imagine I could feed this, anything on the computer can probably be fed into it. But shoot, I bet I haven't messed with that for 2 years, so I'm gonna pull it back out because when I was over at Hamvention, I attended the ATV session, and they were talking quite a bit about digital there, and got me kind of thinking about messing with it some more. It's N9BNN.
And were they talking more about DVB-T or DVB-S?
Well, they talked about both, but around here, and actually for most of the guys that operate with this stuff in the area, it's DVB-T. They went through the pros and cons. The DVB-S, I guess, tends to be more used by the satellite people, except out in Colorado where there's a lot of activity. I believe they're using DVB-S out there, so it kind of varies, but the DVB-T equipment was very readily available, and that's what I've got. And the nice thing about that too is you can you can reduce the bandwidth down to I think even 1 megahertz. But I know I've tried 2 before. I think they do 2 megahertz out of Dayton.
Yeah, I wonder how that would look between us. Uh, I was doing a little reading the other night, and from what I saw, the DVB-T has got, like, the receivers are less expensive, but with DVB-T Tango, you need more overhead in the amp, and you end up losing like 4 or 5 dB on your transmit power as compared with the DVB-S. I don't know if you've heard the same thing, but that's what I was reading last night.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they said at the seminar. The guy that talked about it, name is Art, and he's the guy. He handles the Columbus Amateur TV Club. They've got a repeater out there, but they've got very few people in that area that mess with it. He's almost like a one-man show, and he's really into it. And that's some of the things you talk about. Yeah, you use your power better on S, but I believe the DVB-T, because of the lower resolution, you almost running lower resolution, you can almost gain it all back.
Oh, okay. So the S won't do the narrower bandwidth, lower resolution modes then. All right.
That's what I recall. That's one of the big benefits of the T, is it's got a whole bunch of little carriers in it, and you don't have to use all of them. You can cut them way back, and basically you lose resolution. You don't lose programming.
Okay. Well, I'll have to read up on it more, especially on the transmit side, like how you get a picture into it. It'd be nice to be able to just hook a camera right up to a transmitter like we do on the analog side. So I'm curious what what units are available, what the cost is, and how you actually get video into it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's better transmitters than this dongle I got, but it was fairly low cost, and it got me something to play with. So that's why I went that route. I may, invest in a better transmitter down the road, but right now, if I can make what I got work, I'll be happy with that. So yeah, I mean, the picture quality is much better. They said that if you got a P3 signal in analog, that would be enough to give you a perfect decode in the DVB-T.
Well, it sounds like we're pretty close to that, so that would be interesting.
Yes, it would. Now, another digital I can do because of this equipment I got from the TV station is I can transmit ATSC. Now, the only thing is I don't have a good setup for feeding something in. Right now, this equipment was set up to be a translator, so the driver actually has a TV receiver built into it to pick up the signal to rebroadcast. And so I can rebroadcast something in ATSC if I wanted to play around. I read that it's, even for hams, it's okay to do that if you're only testing. I can't do a regular rebroadcasting, but it's something to play with.
Yeah, that would put you back at 6 megahertz width, though, wouldn't it? K9YK.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, no, it would just be something to play around with. There are some hams I'm remembering that do mess around with ATSC some places, but and I'm trying to think in St. Louis, is it there they do that? I don't know. They do something. Oh, I think they do the DVB-T, but 6 megahertz bandwidth in St. Louis, and they operate vertical. So all this stuff varies depending where you're at.
Yeah, that's all really interesting. Well, I'll have to look at the DVB-T stuff a little bit more.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it'd be expensive to jump into it. There's a company called High Des. Well, it sounds like high res, but it's High Des with a D. And they make some very reasonable equipment. It's out of Taiwan for amateurs. And that's what I've got. I've got the dongle from them, and I think the receiver I bought is also from them. So they seem to be the name, at least so far, out there.
Okay, cool. I will look around and see what I can see.
Okay, very good. Well, hey, I'm going to go ahead and drop here. I don't think I need to keep going, but it seems like it's working pretty well.
Yeah, I'll come back up again for a minute. Go flip the amp in transmit mode.
there you are, back up.
Good. Look the same as before?
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, about the same P3 signal.
Okay. All right. Does it look kind of like the way yours did on YouTube? Maybe not as good? I'm just curious.
Not as good. Mine looked better than this on YouTube, but if you, like you said, it was taking out some of the snow, or covering it up some way. That might explain it. Now your signal's flickering in and out some. I think it's just atmospheric conditions causing a problem. There, it's better. It just kind of comes and goes a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. The YouTube playback looked better, or the stream looked better than it did on the local monitor here, and better than it did on OBS Studio, which is doing the encoding and streaming. So I don't know. YouTube must do something to around their deinterlacing or something that somehow made it look a little bit better.
If you'd like to see, I'm not sure, I don't have a setup for doing it on YouTube, but we could do a FaceTime on the phone if you'd like to see what it looks like live.
Nah, that's all right. That's all right. Maybe just shoot me a short video or something and send it to me. Just 5 seconds or something like that. Just curious.
Yeah, I'm doing the video right now. It's pretty good. The picture's about as good as it's going to get, I think. Showing that, and then I'll swing over and you can see what it looks like on SDR here. What everything looks like on that. So, about 20-second video. Okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that'll be great. Let's see. I'm looking at, I found the high des stuff. Yeah, HIDES.
Yes, that's it. I don't know what the latest thing they have. I can't give you any part numbers or anything. All I know is there was a dongle I bought. I don't know if that's still around, and there was a really good receiver, but I bet they've got some other stuff too.
So they got a UT, the dongles, it looks like there's a UT210 TX only, UT100A TXRX, UT100B TXRX.
I think it's a UT100 that I have. I'm going to have to pull it out. I think I put it away.
Okay, it says direct digital conversion anywhere between 50 and 900 megahertz and 1200 to 1350. Bandwidth between 2 and 8 megahertz. I wonder what the power output is on it.
It's pretty low. It's I don't know. It's you can do above 0 dBm. I think it goes maybe to 6 or something like that.
Okay, so a couple of milliwatts.
Yeah, it's not much, but I was able to feed it. Actually, it wasn't a whole lot different than my TV modulator. It wasn't too far off that, so I was able to kind of feed it the same way. But I had to feed it into the driver for the TV stuff because it's much more sensitive. Now the receiver I've got, it's a high des HV110.
Okay, I'm looking at what's on here. I see DVB-T receiver adapter. There's a UT100D, UT120, and UT130. Yeah.
This is actually a full receiver, other than it has to hook up to your computer. Well, it's got an HDMI out. No, I guess it can hook up to. But it hooks up to the computer as well, because that's how you control it.
Okay, I found the 110, $169.
I don't remember what I paid for it, but I bought it a while back, and I played around with it. But like I said, when you can't pick anything up, it gets a little frustrating.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I had any manual information on. There's my ATV folder. Yeah, my high-des transceiver, it's the UT100/PT-DVBT, something like that.
So they got a HV310 Echo transmitters, $279. Does H.264. Frequency range is 170 to 1350 megahertz. So it would do 70 centimeters.
Yeah, that's pretty good range. Yeah, it sounds like that's a better unit. It's probably got more power out. This dongle is pretty basic stuff. But the interesting thing is that it wasn't even really a transceiver. Called it that because it would receive while it was transmitting, so you could see what you were transmitting, I guess.
This says that it's got the inputs are CVBS, which I assume is composite video baseband signal, I assume, and HDMI, and it looks like the lowest resolution it does is 720 by 480. So I wonder what the lowest bandwidth is then.
I don't know. It should be. You should be able to get low bandwidth on it. I imagine it's adjustable, but yeah. Like I said, the 2 megahertz is pretty common, and you get a nice looking. I've seen the pictures. You get a really nice looking image at that low.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, very good. Hey, I'm going to go get myself some lunch and then maybe get back to my antenna, but I appreciate the opportunity to do a little DX here with the ATV. So take care, and we'll keep in touch here. Maybe if you get some digital going, we can give that a try. K9YK, this is N9BNN, clear.
Okay, well, we'll definitely talk more before if I decide to make an investment in that and before, because I want to make sure that whatever I get is something you can receive. Yeah, or I can receive whatever you're transmitting. So, okay, yeah, and if you switch to the outside amp, let's try that again too. I'm just curious if that makes any difference with the shorter coax run or anything like that up to the antennas. So, all right, well, thanks for today, and. Good to shoot some pictures back and forth. K9YK.